Yo, what's good, everybody? It's Mr. Holland Park 313. Um, Want to discuss tonight's Pistons game between the Utah Jazz. I don't do Pistons games that often, but it's a couple things I want to touch on. And this is, I think, right now at this point of the season, this is pretty critical right now. And we had a disastrous game against Cleveland yesterday, where they lost by 32, and we came up short. Well, it wasn't as bad as the Cleveland game, but it was bad enough in the Utah game. Um, this is my thing with the Pistons right now. I didn't expect for them to be like contenders for the Eastern Conference championship or anything like that. I had realistic expectations. However, I did have expectations in terms of them being a little better than last year. Because I understand, though, it's a young team. It's going to take time. That's just the fact of the matter is. So with that being said, I don't, I don't mind the losing. I mean, I'm not saying I don't mind the losing, but if you're gonna lose, my biggest thing is effort. I could respect losing as long as you go out there and you lay it out there on the floor, on the line right now. I understand. They walked into a buzzsaw in Cleveland yesterday. Cleveland hit 19 three pointers. They shot over 60 some percent, 63% from the 3 point line. They were just on that night. So situations like that happens, you know. But at the same time, I would like to see us show a little bit more heart. You know, don't just go out there and lay down for a team because they're the defending champions. I don't give a fuck about that. I don't use that being young as an excuse. I don't be inexperienced. I don't buy excuses. You out there and you play. Bottom line. So I was just disappointed on overall effort. I mean, I'm not surprised or completely shocked that Cleveland won that game. They're a good team. Hats off to them. You know, but we're in a very tough situation right now. Well, we have to get to the playoffs at the end of the day, and it's not like we got like a 10-game cushion right now. It's critical, and we didn't do ourselves any favors tonight with this effort we put up against Utah. And just go over a few stats I'm looking at right here. The highest score of the whole team now was Ish Smith. I have a problem with that because this goes back to what I was saying about the effort. You know, Ish Smith should not be the highest scoring player on our team for a game. And at that, he only had 16 points. So if he only has 16, he's the highest scorer on the team. You can only imagine what our other key players are. We got 10 points from KCP, 8 points from Reggie Jackson, which he only kicked in 6 yesterday. And we got 6 points from RJ Drummond. 8 points from Marcus Morris and 7 points from John Lure. That is completely unacceptable. Bottom line, there's no reason for that. This is the crunch time right now. I think it's about 15 games left in the season. So we can't have efforts like this. Bottom line. I understand Utah is a very good team. They are what are they, 43-25? So they in pretty good seating in the Western Conference at that. So I understand they're a good team. But I don't buy, well, they're a good team, so it's cool to go out and play like this. It's cool to lose in this effort. And it's the same situation when the Lions, too. When they go out and they lay an egg, I come down on them, too. It's not me freaking out as a fan. It's just me. I've always been like that. I call the Pistons out when they don't perform well, and I call the Lions out when they don't perform well. The Red Wings, Tigers. That's just the way it is. Me being the fan does not prevent me from being critical of the team. So that's just the way it is. So I'm not necessarily freaking out, and I wasn't necessarily expecting a championship this year from the Pistons, but I'm just not liking the effort I'm seeing so far. You know, bottom line, if Andre Drummond is getting what, $23 million a year, 8 points, this is back to back, 2 games in a row. You can't just have monstrous game against the lesser teams in the league. I mean, you have to be able to at least show up for the more elite teams as well. That's just the way it is. You're not going to always play sub 500 teams. You're going to play tough teams as well, and you have to be able to play against those too. That's showing progress as well. When you at least compete and show effort and show heart. Don't let nobody come in your building and beat you by this many points. This is simply unacceptable. You know, so it's very disappointing in this effort right now. It really is. And at some point, even though this is a young team, we got to get to the point where making the playoffs should just be the only goal. Bottom line. That's just the way it is. And that goes to the same thing for the Lions. I don't give a damn about just making the playoffs. Do something once you get there. That simply has to happen. There's no excuse for it not to happen. So I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself because football season is a long ways from now. But I'm going to have the same expectations for the Lions. The bottom line. It doesn't look like the Red Wings are going to the playoffs this year. And that's probably a good thing. Because a lot of the fans have got content with keeping the playoff streak going. Oh, they made the playoff 26 years in a row. Da da da. Okay, yeah, that's good. But they haven't really been relevant for a few seasons now. We can't get to the point. We can't get to the place as fans of our teams in Detroit where we're just content with mediocrity. That's just simply unacceptable. So in terms of the Wings, I don't give a fuck if you make it 40 years in a row. If you make it to the playoffs and you get bounced in the first round, what is your end game? What's really the point? So maybe this is a wake-up call. They really need to regroup. Like, seriously. Their last championship was in 2008. So, come on now. This is 2017. So that's almost 10 years ago. I mean, I remember growing up as a kid, man. If the Red Wings wasn't winning cups, they was in contention for a championship. Bottom line, they were the most consistent team. They have been the most consistent team in terms of winning, especially championships, that we've ever had in Detroit for a long time. So if nobody else wasn't really doing anything from college on down, we can guarantee that the Wings was going to be there at the end of the day, making it to the conference finals and winning cups. That was just a normal routine. And it kind of seems now that the organization has become content with this mediocrity. I see fans on Facebook celebrating the fact they got another playoff streak going. And they're cool with that. That's bullshit. I don't give a fuck about no playoff streak. If you ain't gonna do shit when you get there, why go? Bottom line. I would never be content with mediocrity. Ever. From any team. And I understand, like I said, going back to the Pistons, they're a young team. I got realistic expectations. I didn't expect them to win no championship this year, of course. But I gotta see the effort. You gotta show fans that you give a shit. Bottom line. That's just the way it is. And to come out and perform like this at home, this first of a 3-game homestand, after getting blasted in Cleveland, if there's any time to bounce back, now would be that time. Because we don't have that many games to fuck off. We really don't. So moving forward, and like I said, hopefully they make the playoffs, but if not, I'm not freaking out. Because like I said, I understand that there's still a high ceiling for this team. Young, time to develop. But going into next season, we should see some improvements. Young team or not, much better improvements than we've seen this season. Bottom line. So I just kind of want to chime in on that. This is a very disappointing game. It really is. And heartbreaking. This is unacceptable. unacceptable. You know, it seemed like that bench pretty much outplayed the starters. I mean, what's this? So Drummond and shit, Aaron Baines of all people outscored all of our starters. I don't understand how anybody could be cool with that. That's fucking crazy. Aaron Baines, he had 12 points tonight. That's higher than any starter. We had one starter in double figures, and that's KCP, and that's only at 10 points. So what the fuck were they doing out there tonight? I have no idea. But it's time to get it in order. The bottom line. That's just the way it is. Mr. Highland Park 313, shout out to my DVE, as always, my DVE fam. Check out everybody's pages and subscribe to the channel, show support, like, all that good stuff. And I get at y'all later.